Oh my gosh, I'm so bright. Hi, welcome back to Waking Up with Kandy. If this is the first time we're meeting, my name is Candace and I am a bright and shiny being like you, and I share, this is a safe space to be able to share other people's spiritual awakening stories and journeys thus far. And tonight we have a very special guest. But before that, I want to just say it's been a while. Sorry for when we're a little late today, but that's okay. You know how I roll. We just flow. And also, it's been a while since I've been on, and I miss you guys. Just life stuff. And I moved from Southern California to South Carolina. I love it here so much. I don't know why my face is so bright, right? Anywho, I love it here. It's so amazing. Hi, Deanna. Oh, hi, Diana. Hi, Anna Kimby. Okay, so you guys, I'm so excited to be here. So much has happened. So much has happened. I should probably do a life update or something. So tonight we have a beautiful soul sister that I met at Rising Phoenix Aurora's retreat in Siesta Key, Florida in December, where we, together with other beautiful souls, were certified and trained to be aura practitioners. That is angelic universal regression alchemy. It's like past life regression, hypnosis, but it's future also now. You're doing your own healing, self-healing. It's beautiful, amazing. Oh my gosh. And also raw Reiki certified also. So I'm going to have many beautiful souls coming up, sharing their beautiful stories. Hi, Russ. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited you guys are all here. Oh, thank you so much. I love you all, whoever's watching live and also who watches after on YouTube. I'm going to post it on my YouTube as well as save it on my feed on Instagram. So, hi, Healing Chaos. I'm just feeling the love today and just so excited to be back, right? I'm just so excited. So, it's Yenni, meRa. I hope I did that right. Yes, meRa. She is the beautiful soul that we are going to interview today, and just waiting for her to pop on. Let me know how you guys are doing. If you guys are interested in sharing your spiritual awakening journey with all of us, please DM me. Do not even feel any way about it at all. Just say, hey, ... and then I'll just do the rest, you know? Hi, Carol! Oh, I love you so much. Getting some Palo Santo in the mix, you know. So what else is new? What else is happening, guys? Oh, you guys are so beautiful. I'm so happy you guys are here. Oh, Crystalline Vibes. Have you guys checked out her page, Crystalline Vibes? We had I think it was the last interview, Waking Up with Kandy with. I believe she was the last one. Yes. Check out her YouTube, you guys. She's dropping some knowledge and light language and just the frequency of love, straight up. So, yeah, you guys should check her out. Let me see. Yes, Carol, come visit, girl. And you guys are welcome to come if anybody's in the area of South Carolina. I'm here. So let me know. Oh, gosh, you guys are so cute. Okay, let me see. Let me get my act together here. Oh, my gosh. I know. I should just do a live and just talk to you guys and stuff and just tell you what's going on. And we should just chit-chat and, stuff like that. I should do that. Okay, anywho. Yes. Oh my God, cute. Linda. Love you, girl. Oh my gosh, beautiful. She was also at the retreat with us, and hopefully will be on here sharing her beautiful awakening journey thus far, girl, because it's wherever you are, at your journey. Doesn't have to be right now. It doesn't have to be, whatever it is. There's no judgment. Hi, Tracy. Love you. Okay, let's focus. Okay, she's not here yet. Let me see how I can get her in the room. Let's see. Bear with me here. Perfect. What happens? Ah! Oops, I wasn't paying attention. That's cool. No problem. Fire is our friend. Fire is within us. Fire is transmuting. Fire is love. Fire is creativity. We all know. We know. Okay. Let me type in her channel or her page here. You guys are so cute. Thank you for all your patience. Okay, cool. Okay, is she here? What's happening? Just gonna wait. I know it's full moon tonight, right? I know. What are you guys doing? Are you guys doing anything? Full moon ritual, writing in your moon journal, taking a bath, cleansing, taking it easy. Okay. Interesting. Okay. Well, what I usually do for the full moon, I haven't done it in a while, getting back into my normal routine. But what I would normally do, rest. Yes, that's what I've been doing all day. Yeah, it's my moon time. So moon water. Yes, moon water. Oh, it's supposed to be raining. Well, it's cloudy over here in this East Coast area. So yeah, that's good to get some moon water for sure. And then soak it up and charge it with the sun the day after. That's also really nice. But yeah, I used to write in a moon journal. I just haven't done it in a while, but I would do it at full moons and new moons. Yeah. Oh, I have manifested so much from the moon journal. Seriously. So good. All right. So she's unable to join for some reason. So let's see. Hold on. Okay. I think this is it, guys. I think it's it. Let's do it. Let's do it. This is only a place of love. We do not consent to anything other than, hi, Yenni.
All right.
Oh,
Wait, am I
yeah.
upside down or
I know. It's a bummer. It won't like adjust it. You have to like do it the other way.
okay? Sounds good. I will. Give me
Look how
one
cute she is,
second.
guys. Oh,
I'll stop. Just as you are.
no, you are
All
stop.
right. There you go.
Oh, Tamara's here. Hi, girl. She's also at
Okay.
a retreat. Oh my gosh.
All right. Let me get this card.
Hi, Michaela. Oh my God, I love the wind so much. Oh, beautiful. Okay.
Okay.
We did it. We're
Yeah.
here. You're worth
Yeah.
any weight. Yay.
Oh,
Welcome.
you're so cute tomorrow. Anyways, I'm so excited to be here.
Oh, we're so excited to have you so much. So thank you for being brave and courageous enough to come on here and to share your story, your spiritual awakening journey thus far. It's not easy to come up here and say it. So honestly, we like love you and honor you and respect you always, always.
Of course, likewise to everybody. I honestly like, oh man, has been like my dream forever since I was a little girl. I always just wanted everybody to be happy no matter what. So I'm just so excited that we're all aligning and doing a collective effort. You know what I'm saying? No matter how like low the tides feel like they're going, and then the peaks and the highs and everything, it's like we're getting there.
Yes. Def-
So I'm excited.
yep. That's how we flow with it, right? We just together too, because we are very powerful on our own and we hold so much within ourselves. But together amplifies, amplifies.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
beautiful.
Great.
Okay. All right. So, you want to just tell us a little bit about yourself, like if you want, whatever you want to share,
Mhm.
who you are, like where you're from, your age, if you want to, and then we could kind of dig into your childhood. Like, how were you when you were younger? Did you have some spiritual, like supernatural stuff that happened, or anything you want to share about that? And yeah, the floor is yours. And you could just jump into your awakening, but we're here and we love you.
Hey, I love y'all, and I love you too, Candace.
Love you.
Okay. So my name is Yenni. That's my middle name. I grew up with that. My family calls me Yenni, so I go by Yenni because that's very an intimate name for me. Um, yeah, my acquaintances and everybody else knows me as Laura, but on social media mainly I go by meRa, which is a name that came to me. It's a spiritual name actually that came to me in 2020 after I did a goddess in training course with High Priestess Raven, which was me connecting with my divine feminine aspect of Lilith and the dark aspect of, walking or embodying basically all aspects of the divine feminine energy. Because we all have all spectrums basically to be the whole, we're not just the one.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, so I had to do that that journey. Basically, I've taken a lot of little courses and things, just to try and integrate everything that I've been encountering, basically, and
Mm-hmm.
that not only that I've been encountering, but my research and stuff, and me getting more familiar with like um, the true, basically, the truth of it all. I mean, there's many truths. It's all perspective,
Yeah.
but the one that truly resonates in your heart, just like I wasn't agreeing with the whole demonization of Lilith and all these things that didn't really resonate with me. I'm like, why? Like, why do they say she eats babies and this and that, and it wasn't making sense to me until I heard about the book of Enoch, how that was a book that was missing from the Bible and stuff. And then I started looking more into it. I was like, oh, okay. So so
Yeah.
basically learning about that, it was just it was liberating,
Mm-hmm.
and me getting to know the all aspects of the divine feminine. Yeah, divine feminine. And we're all divine feminine and masculine within. So yeah, it was, yeah. I'm sorry, but yeah, so my path, the reason why I ventured into that aspect of the dark aspect of the feminine energy is because of my journey. My journey. So I've went through I've experienced a very dark, how do you say that? Dark experiences, basically, like the opposite end of the spectrum. I was always going to the extremities of light and dark in my life.
Mm-hmm.
So I was born in Acapulco, Guerrero, which that's in Mexico. It's the Pacific coast, South Pacific coast of Mexico, southeast. Yeah, well, what? Pacific. Yeah. So I was born there. I was raised there for 4 years of my life with my mother's side of the family. I want to say your average or typical story of how do you say that? The minority, quote unquote, I guess you want to call it that, the minority. Yes. So then at the age of 5, well, it was 4 years old. My father decided to come to the US, and that's when my mother decided that we should come too. So, yeah, that's when everything in my life started like spiraling down, and I just experienced, after the age of 3 years old, I started experiencing one trauma after another, because basically, I was always like a very happy-go-lucky type of girl, always living in my head and my imagination and like playing with the leaves and making food with the leaves and the, plants outside when I was little. Cause, yeah, in the village that I grew up where my mother was raised, um, I grew up in a house where there was only 3 walls and we had like a tin roof. So outside, we didn't have like stairs. It was basically like, dirt. And then to go wash, I would go with my grandma. We'd go to a river. So we had to walk down a little hill, and then I played with the tadpoles there while my grandma was washing clothes in the river by hand. So, I came from I had very, very humble beginnings, and I appreciate them because of those beginnings. I have appreciated my life thus far and everything that I had, the privilege that I have access to learning, for example. because my mother, she dropped out of school when she was in sixth grade just so she can start working and
Mhm.
helping my grandmother out. So my mother's education just went up to sixth grade because she decided like that she didn't have the capacity to learn. So she dropped out and she started working pretty much at the age of 12. So I come from that kind of background. And then, same with my biological father. Pretty much I grew up in like, it was a lot of hard experiences and lessons of deception, lies, and it didn't only start with the family, for example, because I didn't know that my father that was raising me wasn't my real father until I was like 13. My uncle and my aunt would tell me things, and I was like, "Is this true?" So there was like a little gap that was, I guess, growing between me and my mother,
Mhm.
because she wasn't being truthful or honest. And aside from that, it was also how do you say that? She was, a tough lover because she didn't have that gentle, caring love. She had an absent father who was violent, and her mother who was raising 9 kids at that time by herself as well, washing laundry by hand. That was her work. We were very, like, I guess you can say, that lack consciousness. That's where we come from. So it was just a really tough journey that, my mom started pressuring me to work at the age of 9. I started babysitting and stuff like that. So I've always been like Little Miss Independent, also because I was the oldest in the family. So I felt like I was responsible for everybody. And um as well with my education. At the age of 3, she would discipline me. She would sit me down on a little table, face the wall, and read and write because she didn't want me to grow up like her. So she was,
Mhm.
projecting and doing her best to avoid basically that cycle. She wanted me to be better than her, and she would always tell me that. But her way of doing so, to me, it felt like it was cold, as in like I don't understand. As a child, you're just like, why are you so mean? Like, why are you so harsh? And I wouldn't understand my mother. So I grew up with like a heavy heart in a way where I knew love as tough love only, basically. Tough love. And basically, since I came to Chicago, 'cause that's where I grew up,
Mhm.
after the age of 5, um, it was just me and my mother and my sisters. And then I've always been connected spiritually as well because that's also when I started experiencing traumatic experiences with out of body experiences and lucid
Mhm.
dreams when I was like 3 years old. That's when I started dreaming. Like I would be sleeping on my grandma's couch, for example, and I would just see myself at nighttime in the evening being chased by the devil, so-called devil.
Mhm.
It was an entity, that was like he was red with the tail. It's just because in Mexico also they have all these like stories, where
Yep.
they like these goals and like for example, La Llorona, the mother that's always crying and then she comes and kills children and stuff like that. So you hear all those things in Mexico, and so I had this entity basically that would, I guess, in a way, attack me since I was like 3 years old.
Mhm.
And that's when my dream started it. And that's when my great grandmother taught me, my step great grandmother taught me how to say prayers when I was little. So I can, make those dreams disappear because I would wake up in night sweats. Sometimes I would just go mum and I would like, my vision would go blurry. I wouldn't be able to hear. I wouldn't be able to talk. Like
Mhm.
I'd experience those things when I was very little. And my parents didn't know what was going on, so they would like sometimes rush me to the hospital to see like, hey, she's losing consciousness and stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I experienced a lot spiritually, mentally, physically, and emotionally. And the reason why I say physically, it's not only because of my mother, but I was the average immigrant pretty much. I crossed the border and it's not easy, It's not easy because I see the children today and the stories. And I've also watched movies and documentaries about these children who crossed the border. And it's really heartbreaking because I experienced that firsthand. Me and my sister did. and I was only 4 or 5 years old. So I know how what it feels like to be in a detention center. I know what it feels like to walk through the desert and cross the Rio Bravo and stuff like that. Like it's terrifying because we have to like hide under bushes at night, make sure, keep eye for the helicopters, and stuff like that. So it was very, I guess I really had a very tumultuous past, and all of that I really had to process it, which I started processing it when I started going to grammar school here in the US. In first grade, that was the first time I went to school here. And the school counselor would like take me into her office. So we do like origami. So creating arts and dancing and singing, that's really what, like, it was my therapy. So basically, behind closed doors, when nobody was watching, I would just dress as a ballerina, start singing, dancing, singing to the stars, the earth, and just playing with my imagination. That was like my, I guess, my therapy when I was little, because I never had like official therapist or counselor or anything like that. So it was always me, writing, drawing, painting, and doing something. And that would be like my little safe heaven until I processed everything that I went through in life. So yeah, so with that being said, I became a mother at the age of 13. And it wasn't a desired pregnancy because honestly, at that point in my life, I didn't even want to be here anymore. It was a lot. The world was like very harsh to me. At least that's what it seemed like, just because of everything that was going on and that I was watching, because I was a big observer. So I was usually very shy and quiet and just, paying attention all the time to the grown-ups and adults and just very observant. And yeah, so I was usually very serious, very quiet, shy, but also very goofy with my family. I was always making silly faces and making everybody laugh. Well, my mom and my dad and my sisters. So yeah, and that's just me. I take life a little too serious sometimes, but I'm also very goofy. I like being silly. Even my daughter sometimes she'd be like, "Mom," she's like, "I wish I had a normal mom." She would say this like when she was 8 years old. I was like, "How dare you?" you know? Or she'd be like, Mom, she's like, you need to start acting like a grown up now. I'm like, don't tell me that.
I can relate. My mom, well, she didn't have me as young as you, but she had me at 19. And so, yeah, I definitely was like, Mom. She's like, let's go to the club. I'm like, Mom, really? I'm like 15 or 13 or something. I don't know. But, anyways, yes, I can relate.
Yeah. Yeah. And then I started experiencing a lot of like night terrors. Basically, I grew up in a Christian church. That Christian church, to me, I was surrounded by a lot of hypocrites. I mean, I don't like to judge anymore. I definitely refrain from judging anything or anybody now because it's like, no, we're all here learning. We're all, you know what I'm saying? We all start there. We don't know
We don't know their
who we
lives,
truly
what's
are.
happened. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. So it's like we're all gaining that awareness and remembering. So, but yeah, I experienced a lot of molestation, I guess sexual assault when I was little. Since the age of 3, it started with my step grandfather. Yeah, since the age of 3, then when I was crossing border, age of 4, then at 7 with my cousin and stuff like that. And I would always tell like my grandma or somebody, but they would always tell me like, oh, it's okay, I'll talk to them, be quiet, you don't tell anybody. So I was silenced most of my life, all of my life. So when that pregnancy was occurring with my daughter, I wasn't telling anybody that I was in an abusive relationship pretty much. I didn't want to be in that relationship, but he became sort of like obsessive and a stalker at that time because, he's only like 2 years older than me at that time. When I was like 12, he was 14. So his hormones, and then he didn't have a present father, and the mother was just not there either. So he was just doing whatever he wanted to do. So yeah, so it was just, I guess that typical minority story. And yeah, so it's like that happened. I didn't have anybody that I can talk to. Also, I was experiencing some depression and stuff because my best friend, which was my brother, at that time, he ran away when he was like 14 years old. And he was one of the only men, aside from my stepfather, that I can really trust because, everything else that I've experienced, it was just like, and me and him, we had so much trust that we would sleep together in a twin size bed. And, it was just, he was my older brother. He was 15, 14 years old at that time, and I was 10 years old. So when he ran away, it broke my heart. And at that time, he was going through his punk rock scene, listening to like Papa Roach, Evanescence, Avril Lavigne.
Yeah.
So I grew up listening to that at 10 years old. I was a very emo, gothic, punk rock girl, very intense. So, but it was because, I wasn't like, I didn't understand anything. And I would always question and have these questions and nobody would have answers. So I grew up going to Sunday school, because I grew up in a Christian church, and I would often question the Bible and ask about the planets, the stars, and, they didn't have answers for me. And then one time they caught me reading, an astrology in the newspaper and horoscopes and things like that. And so they were like, that's a sin. Why are you looking into that? And I was 9 years old. So at that time, I was 9 or 8 years old. And at that time, it really impacted me. I was like, because basically I grew up as the black sheep of the family, where it got so bad where, every time they'd have like outings for children, they would leave me behind and they would only take my sister, for example. And I would, at that time, like, I felt bad, obviously. I was like 8, 9 years old experiencing this. So what I would do, I would just like isolate myself even more. So I'd go in the closet and play with my dolls, basically, while my sister was gone, because we're only 1 year apart. She was born 1995. I was born 1994. So, yeah, but the reason why they would take her is because she was very obedient in Sunday school and in church. So she would, remember all the paragraphs and read through the Bible and stuff like that. And I was just over here in my mind spacing out, like wondering what's out there. Right. And they didn't like that. So I had a lot of trauma, I guess, from religion, and also like the pastor's son and all this other crazy stuff that I experienced. It was basically very, that's when I stopped praying. At the age of 9, I stopped praying. I got disconnected and I started becoming an atheist. So I basically was like, why? Why, if the God does exist, why am I experiencing this? Why do people experience this? Like, why do we have to suffer? And so at the age of 12, 13, and 7th grade, I became an outpatient pretty much at a hospital, because I was on suicidal watch, because I would often tell my mother that I wanted to die, just because I would be randomly cleaning the house or whatever, and I'd just have breakdowns and I'd start crying, like I didn't want to be here anymore. So, and, that same energy was going into that moment where my daughter was reproduced, basically. When, I didn't want to be here. I wanted to die. And it was just very dark. It was a dark, dark energy at the age of 13. To the point where I didn't want to tell anybody I was pregnant. I just wanted to run away and live with my daughter under a bridge. Like, that's how I was imagining already. I'm like, you know what? I'm going to do this. But my mother found out because I was really, really skinny. I was like 102 pounds when I was like 13 years old. So I was like a size 0 in jeans, extra small in shirts and stuff. And my mom found out because she was like, oh, I'm going to take you to the doctor to do a blood test. And me, I didn't know that you can find out that I was pregnant like that, So she did a blood test and they're like, she came out crying. She's like, they said that you got anemia. I'm like, but I've always been anemic since I was like 8 years old. They used to give me like some dark gray iron pills and stuff. So I was like, okay. And then she told me, and then I was, she's always been pro-life, and so have I. I never once thought about aborting my daughter just because I felt so much love with her inside of me. I don't even know how or why, but I couldn't. That didn't even cross my mind to like abort my daughter or anything. I didn't know what was going on, but I just felt so much love inside of my womb that, regardless of whatever things that I was experiencing with her father, it was just, she was holding in that love light for me inside. And she's like my miracle child, I tell her, because I went through domestic violence, when I was pregnant with her. because her father has a lot of like anger issues. He needed a lot of therapy and help, which that's something that me understanding others by studying their like mind and why they're the way they are and why they do certain actions, that really helped me not hold anger towards them and forgive them. But at the same time, I was blaming myself for a lot of things. So I was holding up a lot of guilt and shame within me. But I always understood them as in like, you know what? He's a victim of his circumstances as well. He doesn't have a father figure in his life. His mother just does whatever, So, yeah, I was always very understanding with everybody, but that led me to being a pushover for the longest time of my life. Since I was very understanding with everybody, I was a huge pushover up until the age of 21, basically. Yeah.
Wow.
So, at the age of 18, that's when my awakening started solidifying. Because that's when I met a fractal of my twin flame. At that time, I didn't know. But in November of last year, my daughter and I, we communicated with our spirit guides and our soul family. We opened up a portal through mushrooms, but before doing mushrooms, I shielded. I do my singing bowls, I gather my crystals, I make it very sacred. I light up some incense, burn some palo santo, and I made sacred cacao, basically, which sacred cacao from Guatemala or from South America, Central America, it's really good to open up the heart space, the heart center. So that's what I prepared the magic mushrooms with. And that's how we communicated with them. And they were explaining to me, like my twin flames, which I met two fractals of them, and they were also explaining things to my daughter, and they showed her where we're at and stuff like that. And they clarified a lot of things for me and her. And I needed that because I was at a point in my life where I was like, I want to give up spirituality. I don't want to do this anymore. Like I've been feeling stuck, and I really want to keep moving forward. But the thing about me is that I'm a little impatient and I love to run. I don't walk. I'm like, let me take off, with everything. I'm always like that. I've always had or lived a fast life. But because, since I was little, everything was boom, 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 just happening in my life,
True.
Especially after my daughter and stuff. And me, I became independent at like the age of 17, basically. I wasn't living with my parents anymore. My mother wasn't there and my father either. So at the age of 17, I was living on my own with my daughter. I graduated high school and I paid for my own prom, my own high school, like everything I paid for myself, basically. So, I basically went through or to the, what do they call that? The hard school, the knock, whatever. I don't know.
Hard knocks? School of hard knocks?
Yeah, the school of hard knocks. Basically, that's where I went to. And yeah, and I always wanted to be a psychologist or a counselor. I wanted to study that because I wanted to help other people like me who are experiencing and going through things like this. But one day, because I was running a nutrition club at the age of 17. Yeah, I was with like Herbalife and stuff, and I don't know if you've heard of those products. Yeah, so that's when I really started my journey, my health journey, basically. I'm wanting to get better, not only physically but mentally. So I had my Herbalife club. I would go to info sessions. They would, recommend me books to read, basically personal development. And that's really what helped me get here, because I was a very closed up person. Like I wouldn't even to order food, I would whisper when I was, ordering food, and my mom would be like, speak louder. And I'd be like, I was very shy. So, so the personal development from all these entrepreneurship ventures that I joined when I was, since the age of 12, basically, because my mother was selling, I don't know if you've heard of Royal Prestige. It's basically like a brand of pots and stuff like that, like pots and cutlery and stuff that's like lifetime guarantee and all these stuff. So yeah, so at the age of 13, 12, my mother would take me to these meetings. So I would have to like do surveys for people and telemarketing. So at a very young age, I was already, dressing like with a black blazer, red handkerchief, white
Ah, cute.
collared shirt,
All professional,
and
yeah.
black slacks. Yeah, so I grew up in that. So it's like I didn't really have a childhood. So that's why I'm very childlike now. Because it's just like, yeah, and that's what I also read my natal chart thing, and that's what it says too, that it's like I grew up like a super responsible, serious, child, the Capricorn
I
basically
was gonna say
stereotype.
Capricorn,
Yeah,
yep.
Capricorn stereotype. And as I get older,
Oh,
that I get more youthful, I get more loose and more childlike spirit. So that's where I'm at now, thankfully.
beautiful.
Because man, if you see an image of me when I was 18, I look like I was 33. It's crazy.
Wow,
It's
really?
crazy. Yes.
Because you look
I was,
so young now.
I know. And it's the energy work, to be honest. Energy work and, just coming back to balance every time that you feel like you're getting knocked off your course or, yeah,
Yeah.
that's what is literally. But yes, so my awakening was it was that. It was me realizing that I was living in a society full of crazies and that I wasn't crazy. So I would always try to convince myself, like, I'm not crazy. I'm not crazy. And at the age of 14, basically, I got really passionate about the children, the orphans around the world, because they would put that in our faces all the time in commercials. I don't know if you remember, like the children eating rice out of, like the
Yes.
African children and stuff
Yes.
like that. And about like saving animals' lives as well, like animal abuse and stuff. They would always put those commercials on TV.
Mm-hmm.
And that really triggered something within me when I was 14. I was a freshman in high school and I did a research on animal cruelty and I looked up at all the companies that were testing on animals. And I looked up at images of the makeup that, the bunnies and how their eyes would be swollen and red. And I was like, what? Like Colgate, Palmolive, Johnson Johnson, like all these companies. I was like, there's no way. This is crazy. And
Mm-hmm.
that's when I started becoming more aware, more conscious of consumerism and all the atrocities that, they do behind closed doors and people are not aware and they're not aware and it's not their fault. It's just that they don't do their research. You know what I'm saying? And they don't advertise this obviously because then people would probably not support it if they knew what was going on. So ever since at the age of 14, I was living in that cognitive dissonance, I guess you can say, because I knew about animal cruelty and I was against it, but also the programming that I had and, me being surrounded by the people that I was surrounded by,
Mm-hmm.
I decided to make a change. At the age of 22, 23, I went cold turkey vegan and I decided, you know what, I can't do this anymore. So I went cold turkey vegan. I started detoxing because I was like, you know what, if I'm gonna heal myself, it has to be on a cellular level because everything's, breaks down from the microcosm to the macro. So
Yep.
I was like, I have to do this, and that's when I started looking up at more herbs, and that's why I got out of Herbalife. And I was also part of like Amway. I don't know if you've heard of Amway.
Yes.
Nutrilife. Yeah. After Herbalife and having my nutrition club, I went to Amway and
Mm-hmm.
I was selling Nutrilife and all these things. And then I was like, no, I need more natural, more organic. So that's when I just, I was like, you know what? Let's cut out the middleman. Let me just go straight to my herbs and straight to fruits and veggies. And that's what I
Love it.
started doing. Yeah, that's what I started doing. And to be honest, fasting is what catalyzed my journey. In 2017, that's when I went to my first Reiki session. I didn't even know what was Reiki, but things started popping. It started coming into my field of awareness, basically, energy work.
Mm-hmm.
I was already, working with crystals, candles, and herbs, and doing little magic and stuff like that. Basically,
Mm-hmm.
charging water under the full moon, doing new moon rituals and things like that, but I had yet to go into Reiki. So when I booked my first Reiki session with a lady here in Chicago, I was so excited. I was so excited. And this was after I did acid. I did LSD in nature. And that's what really just like, that's what really pushed me forward into, the spiritual world and releasing my blockages and crying for things that, I didn't know they were there. They would come resurface and stuff like that.
Hmm.
So I definitely approve of psychedelics, but not all of them, like mushrooms, ayahuasca maybe, um, DMT, but everything now that I know better, everything in a sacred container. Because once you open up, like our teacher Aurora, since we share, our same mentor, yeah, it's true. Our light body opens up and it's like a lighthouse, and we attract all these mosquitoes and energy vampires, and they attach to us. And when we're new in this journey, we're not aware of that. I wasn't aware of that. I mean, I knew there was entities out there like that, but I didn't know how deep it was.
And how to protect
So
yourself, or the
yeah, I
level.
didn't know none of that. No, I didn't know none of that. And I was just so open. I would even say, oh yeah, I'm open for anything. That was the type of person I was. So I would be traveling like to New York to meet somebody, and they would give me like DMT, for example, and he was a Mason and stuff like that. So it's like I was just, in wonderstruck,
But you
wanderlust type
said
of.
it. Yeah, but you said it. But you said it. I'm open for anything, everything. So it came to you, without your,
Yeah,
yeah. Words or
yeah.
spells. Yeah.
Yeah, so on my first Reiki session in 2017, when I went there, the lady told me I needed a soul retrieval. I was like, what's a soul retrieval? She's like, yeah, she's like, I would recommend you book another session for Reiki, or she's like, I can do a ceremony for you for your soul retrieval. I didn't know why, but I mean, I explained to her what I went through and how at that time I was still holding a lot of like pain basically from my experiences of me becoming a young mother. And at that time, my daughter's father was still in jail because he went to jail for 6 years, basically, because of the case, the domestic violence and sexual assault case, because of me, because I was underage and stuff when a lot of those things happened. Um, so he went to jail for 6 years. So that was a whole nother thing that I had to take care of as a mother, for my daughter's mental health and her growth, everything. So my whole life has been like I guess I've been like a wounded healer, healing
Hmm.
myself, my family, and my daughter at the same time. But at the same time, since I was still in that cycle and programming, I was hurting myself through the process as well. With boundaries because I didn't have any boundaries.
Yeah.
Um, I didn't have any boundaries and I didn't know how to say no to nobody because, for my mother, that's the way she raised me. Everything was yes, yes, yes. So I was always very controlled and manipulated, even as a young girl. At the age of 13, basically, because before that I was a little rebel. But at the age of 13, after I had my daughter, I was very controlled and manipulated, like willingly. But I would cry about it in school with like my teachers and stuff because I'm like, even my mother doesn't want to, doesn't allow me to be a mother for my daughter or to raise her and teach her the way I want to raise her, and stuff like that. So that's something that I had to learn in this lifetime, basically. My boundaries, how to say no. And yeah, because I was always giving my power away literally up until 2021. I was still experiencing lessons like this because I was always so kind and giving right away. Like, if I knew a person only for 2 weeks and they were like, oh, I need to borrow $1,000 because they know I have it. For me, it was so hard for me to say no because I was just like, you know,
Hmm.
and even though I didn't want to, I would do it. I would just give it up the money and stuff. And, I would be kicking myself basically like, oh, why did I did that? I need that money because I need to establish my LLC or whatever. And yeah, so up until last year, I really had to learn my lesson. I was going through those same cycles with different people and a different level of awareness as well because, every person that I meet every time I level up, it's like like they say, a new level, a new devil, basically type of thing. So that's what it was for me. But it gets deeper. I didn't even know why, when I met Aurora, which I asked for divine intervention in like May 2021, basically. Because I was like, why am I not going forward? I'm working so hard. I'm learning so much. I'm doing Forex. I'm doing crypto. I'm educating myself about, I was in this program called Sovereignty,
Hmm.
Sovereignty and Training, basically from Secret Energy. I was a part of that program. I was meeting my soul tribe and stuff like that, but there was something that wasn't right. It was just like there was something dark that I experienced and I sensed, and it didn't resonate with me. So I was still feeling lost. Like, I'm like, this is still not my timeline where I'm supposed to be or where I want to be. So even though, they had the knowledge, the esoteric knowledge, they had the wisdom, I guess, from applying it, they were building this conscious ecosystem and stuff like that. It was still not resonating with me because, something that I always felt true to my heart was love.
Hmm.
Like, no matter what, like love to me, and real, true compassion. Um, because I always do my best to embody that. I've always done my best to embody that. I'm not gonna front and say that I was always love and peace and compassion and stuff because I wasn't. There was a point in my life where I hated humanity. Like, I just, I hated, I was mad. I was mad at the system. I was mad at this world. I was mad at the deception. I was mad at the lies, everything. I was just a very angry person. The thing is that I wouldn't take it off on anybody. They would see me serious, but I would really take it off on myself. So I was always, self-sabotaging and saying like, oh, I wish I wasn't here, or, I wish I was dead, or stuff like that. So I was a very angry person because I would allow the collective energy to just affect me. Um, and, I felt powerless because I always wanted to do something. I wanted to help the world in some way. Um, Not for the money and fame or anything like that, because I always felt like I was an old soul and I've lived through it all. As in, like, okay, I wanted to be a dancer when I was growing up, but it's like, I felt like I've been that, or I've done that in another lifetime, dancer, singer, whatever, an entertainer. I feel like I've done that in another lifetime. So that's why I never pursue like the entertainment industry or anything like that. I was trying to find something more real, more connected with the earth, with my purpose, with, the all, basically. So I was always looking for more. Um, and that's basically what led me to where I'm at now. When I called for the divine intervention, that's for Mother's Day, that was my gift, basically. The Divine Mother came into my life. Like, I always knew there was a goddess. I always knew that. So there being a god, just a god, it didn't always like resonate it with me. And that's one reason why I like disconnected with the angels and God and religion and stuff like that. I was like, this is not making sense to me. Where's the balance?
Hmm.
Everything is so masculine and everything is so tough and there's no balance, because I had that um just like there's a quote unquote toxic masculinity, which I don't really want to call it toxic masculinity, it's just out of balance. There's, toxic femininity as well, which was me. I was very, naive, very like overgiving, very,
Out of
stuff
balance.
like that. Out of balance, but I was also out of balance with my masculine within me because I was always, I can do it myself, even if I was dating somebody, I would always, I can do this myself. Let me carry the bags. So I was very independent at the same time, but also very nurturing and overgiving. So I was way out of balance. um, yeah. So basically, I never went to the soul retrieval or got a second Reiki session or anything for the soul
Hmm.
retrieval because I thought, I'm like, soul retrieval, there's no way. My soul's here. Like, I'm very soulful.
Yeah.
But I didn't know that all the traumatic experiences, they tear holes in your aura. And not only in your energetic body, but physically. I didn't know none of that. Um, I started like I became aware of it because in my dream time, I would feel stuck having the same recurring dreams all the time, over and over, same Same story, different scenario. And I got tired of it. I'm like, what's going on? So that's when, the Divine Mother came to me through Aurora. She's a channeler who, you and I know, but I want to tell the audience that she is a really beautiful soul who actually, practices the proper protocol, spiritual hygiene, basically, to cover herself, to protect herself, shield herself. And she's in her sovereignty, because she makes it known that she is nobody's guru, she's nobody's savior. And that's how it is, because honestly, truly, nobody can save you, or nobody can do anything for you but you, like
That's
nobody
right.
can. Yeah, like nobody can. And that's something that we all have to come into acceptance, no matter how shitty your life may seem. No matter how shitty your life may seem, it's like, okay, like, suck it up, and then realize that, hey, this is just an experience that I'm here to learn, like, for some reason, and just flow with it and surrender to it, and then be like, okay, eventually it will be revealed to you. And yeah, it was revealed to me. So my second Reiki session, I got a raw session with Mini, which is Aurora's assistant. I got a session with her in June, basically 2 months after encountering Aurora via YouTube and her channeling, a live channeling that she did. It was beautiful. The Divine Mother for Mother's Day. That just, I was like, I knew it. I knew it, it's like I found home, basically. Like, it was like a homecoming to me. Like, I'm like, oh my goodness, like, I'm here. Like, this is where I belong. This is true. And the reason why I say this is true, because I'm a researcher. I'm a loner. Like, I love being alone. That's why I talk so much, because I don't really talk. So when I have an opportunity to talk, I'm like, ah, so
You're
excuse
so
me,
cute.
y'all. But
Take your time.
yeah. I research a lot, a lot, a lot. So I love history, but not just like the history that they teach you in school, the university, and anything like that. No, I go deep, not only in Google, by like DuckDuckGo and like all these other, I also manifest experiences like with these secret societies and stuff like
Mm.
that, which that they have led me to like dark experiences, but it's like, it's they basically really have solidified like not only my theories and what I have learned, but now it's like I'm seeing it with my own eyes. Like I have the book in my hand, the Easter Star books with the reversed, the 5-pointed star reversed and stuff like that. And it's just like I have this information. So it's just like, okay, so this is real. I'm not crazy. I know the dark rituals that go on. I can decipher the codes of the black magic and stuff like that as well. In the books and everywhere. It's crazy. So with my aura session that I had, I mean my raw session with Mini, it was mind blowing to me. Like mind blowing, because they go so deep. It goes so deep that it's like on a whole nother dimension, literally, and people are not aware of this when you don't know that it is your divine birthright to be sovereign, to, be your own love light source energy, basically. Like we don't know these things. We don't know that we are allowed to say we do not consent.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't even know that. Just affirming that out loud. Like I've never even said that until, Aurora taught me, and the book, the Galactic Soul History book. I was like, this is powerful. I didn't know that. So it's like since I was over here so open and just, opening my chakras and things got attached to me that I didn't even know of. And I always felt like I was being watched, but now I know why. It's like I always felt like I was being watched. I wasn't alone in my room. I felt like it was crazy. Like I didn't even feel comfortable showering or something. Like I was really paranoid, and mirrors too. Like I saw the portals and things. Like mirrors would just be breaking randomly in my house or in my car and stuff like that. And yeah. So raw and the aura session, the hypnotherapy, they are so potent.
Yeah.
so potent, and I am so grateful for it because it's true. Not a lot of people believe in entities or aliens or multidimensional beings, you know. They just think that it's only the Earth realm, but it's like, yo, like how can you only think the Earth when there's other planets? The universe is huge, galaxies, you know what I'm saying? Like the
Mm-hmm.
beyond, it's so much more out there. So we can't just think that, they're crazy, entities are not real, aliens are not real, like, you know. So to me, aligning with Aurora and with you all star seeds, it was just a blessing, like, because it just brought me to that divine full realization that, you know what, life, it is truly what we make it. Like it truly is what we make it. Even if, you know, like we went through all these dark experiences and journey in life, it's like, whoa, but there is so much bright light at the end of the tunnel. You know, it's like that you sometimes, it was just in our imagination, but now it's solidifying. You know what I'm saying? With us creating these communities and villages and reclaiming our sovereignty and just establishing our foundation to keep ascending. You know, like the tree, the roots have to go very, very deep in the dirt and you have to be stable. So it's like if you want to grow tall, if you want to grow and expand, you have to expand the as below as well. And, you know, it's not easy. Not easy, but it's doable because I'm here.
Exactly. And you're just sharing just pieces within this hour. I mean, there's a lot more. There's like a
Oh,
lot more.
girl.
Yes. She's very knowledgeable about the occult, like firsthand experience. It's just a lot of stuff she's been through. So
Yeah.
yeah. And
Like,
look,
uh-huh.
well,
No, you can
yeah,
go ahead.
where you are now and what you're doing now, like look, you're through it. You found you're in your heart.
Yeah, yeah. Because, you know, I was the only plant-based person in my family. Like, everybody thought I was crazy. They're like, you're not gonna eat meat, you're gonna die, you're so skinny, you're gonna I'm like, I'm not skinny, I'm at my good weight now, my healthy weight. What do you mean, you know? Because, yeah, and they're like, everybody was just freaking out. Like, what are you doing? You're fasting, you're gonna die. I was like, what are you guys talking about? So for a long time, I didn't really have support in my journey. So it was really difficult, you know, raising my daughter as well and trying to um, basically uh, redirect her path, her life, and you know the journey that we were on because I didn't know better. Obviously, we all don't know better. We're all learning. We're all
Mhm.
learning. Even now, I'm still learning. You know. So
Me
yeah, it was.
too.
Yeah, it took a while for my daughter, but now it's been like 3 years that she's been plant-based. So I'm really excited for her journey because that's how her gifts have really been developing, like more than me, faster than me, and it is amazing because many of these children have gifts, many of them, and it's beautiful. There's rainbow children, crystal children, and I just love children. And that's something that I look forward to, like having a little school where we teach children magic, you know, because magic it exists everywhere. You know, if there's black magic, imagine what light, white magic can do. And then, especially as
Mhm.
we're raising our frequencies, you know what I'm saying? You cannot, like, there's literally no limit to the possibilities. Like, no, like, none. Like, you can't limit yourself. And that's something that I always, you know, would tell myself I don't fit in a box. I can't put myself in a box, you know? That's why I don't even
Mhm.
say I'm Mexican. I don't, like, I just don't. I'm just so mixed and I just not only that, like I just love all cultures, all cultures. I've always since I was like 18, I've had like Korean friends, Filipino friends, Japanese friends, Ethiopian friends, Palestinian friends. So I'm just like I feel very blessed to have been close to people that are multicultural because that only expanded my awareness.
Mhm.
Um, of other beings and their experiences in this, you know, earth realm. So that's why racism never really like never clicked to me. I was just like, what? Like, we're all human. The borders and stuff, like the division programming, it was just so irritating to me.
Mm-hmm.
Because, also the hierarchy, that's something I'm like totally against as well, which is just so annoying to me. So I am just so grateful to have been in this journey that I have been, because I have learned a lot through people watching. Not only people watching, but and that's something too. I was like, damn, like I was thinking about that 2 weeks ago. I was like, all this time that I thought I was studying humans and this earth realm and everything, there was other beings studying me. I'm like, I don't know if I'm I don't know if I'm just that. But that's the truth though, and we're not aware of it. Like, yeah. But it's, I don't know. Life is beautiful. It's literally truly Pandora's box. Um, a paradox in many ways as well. At one point, I even thought that this was like a universal joke, everything, because there's really no right or wrong. There's really
Mm-hmm.
no, you know what I'm saying? The ends of the spectrum exist in every way, basically. So it's always coming back to the center, coming back to the balance, coming back into yourself, within. And yeah, everything is an experience for our growth process. And that's why there's no right or wrong. And that's why I do my best not to judge others, because I've been judged a lot. A lot of people would always thought that I was fast, that I was like a slut, or
Mm-hmm.
whatever, because of my journey and because of my daughter, because I had her at such a young age. Um, so that really like closed me up, and not wanting to like talk or share myself, because I was just like people are always judging me. So, and not only that, but my family as well, just because we were never really truly connected like that. For
Mm-hmm.
example, my mother's and I, our relationship finally healed in 2020. That was the first time that she said, I love you to me. And the first time that she said sorry to me. Yup. She's always never like apologized for anything.
Mm-hmm.
So to me, it was just so like reliving, because we couldn't even be in the same room for more than an hour together. I would get irritated and I'd want to like, I would start making her cry by being truthful. But the thing is that when I was being truthful, I wasn't so kind with my words, I was just very blunt. I was very blunt. So that's why. And she's a very sensitive woman. And I love my mother. Like I love her now, I understand her so much. And every hug that I give her now, it feels like I'm putting pieces, like gluing pieces back into her with every hug. Like I just, I
Mm-hmm.
push pieces of her like little broken soul back together, because I realize that that's also what I'm here to do. And that's why sometimes, after feeling down or whatever about my journey, I come back up and I'm like, you know what? I am grateful and I am honored for my bloodline and my blood, because I am here to break those generational curses and cycles that my family has been through. That the wombs in my family have been abused for such a long time, since a very young age. My grandma, for example, she got forced to marry at the age of 13. Then at 14, she had her baby. And, there's just a lot of toxic, abusive cycle and stuff that I've had the honor to say no more. You know what I'm saying? Like it ends with
Mm-hmm.
me, and my daughter is going to have a completely different reality and a new true normal, basically, like a better quality of life. And that's what we're experiencing now. Thankfully, I'm grateful for it all, because, she even has a healthy relationship with her father, because I've never instilled hate into her. I always said, you can't hate him. You know what I'm saying? I don't even hate my own father that I don't know, but I'm not curious to go find him. I don't hate him, even though he likes my mother and he has a whole family. And he didn't want me to meet him. But it's just so important to stop the hate, because at one point I was even, against the Caucasians, basically the white people, because I was like, they're the colonizers. They came and they raped, the natives in Mexico. They raped my great grandma and this and that. And I was just so angry. And it's like I wanted revenge in a way. Like, I'm like, no, I'm going to take back what they stole from me, what they stole from my family, the land, the everything. I wanted revenge. And I had to I'm like, revenge for what? Then the cycle's gonna repeat. You know, it's just like it's nothing. Like you gotta let it go and you have to forgive because they didn't know better. And not only that, now that I know the deeper truth, you know, about the archonic energies and negative aliens, it's like those are the things that are in control of them, the little puppet masters, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So it's just a lot of chaos that has been restoring and coming back into order um, of, you
Beautiful.
know, our organic selves, souls, beings. So I'm truly grateful for all that. And I just trust and I hope and I have faith that people will realize that, you know, everybody who has that victim mentality still,
Mentality.
yeah, like
Mm-hmm.
slavery and all that things, you know, it's like slavery didn't only happen here in the America, it happened everywhere. Arabs were enslaved at one point, you know, like Caucasians were enslaved at one point too. There's a lot of you know, it happened everywhere. So this whole pointing the finger and blaming each other, at one point I was like, there's no point and keep, you know, going back to the past and reliving the past when you can create, be present here and now and create a future, you know? So it's like there's no point in holding on to, you know, he hurt me, he did this to me, she did this to me. Like I retell my story, but it's just because so people can get to know me because sometimes they often misjudge me or whatever. Like, oh, she has a pretty face, this and that. She probably had it easy in life. I'm like, you know? Like, no, like I'm real. I like to keep it real. Yeah. And I'm really down to earth and I'm really humble, but not only because of my experiences and my humble beginnings, but it's just because I know that, you know, I'm not above anybody. And in school, that's how I was too. I was never with the popular crowd. I was always with the children that they would make fun of, the children who had, you know, autism or
Mm.
Down syndrome. So even when I was like pregnant, I would volunteer to assist the teachers with the autistic children. I love them. Yeah, I would read books to them. I love them. So
Mm.
yeah, so I was always, you know, I don't, yeah, I like being with those kind of people because everybody needs friends and everybody needs love.
Yeah.
And it's just sad. It's sad. But I try not to focus on that anymore. It was sad at that time. That's what I mean. Like it was sad, you know, how the way people treat them or other
Mm.
children. But I get it. You know, they don't know better, so they're just poking fun because he looks different or you know his eyes or whatever. But it's like so I give thanks for my daughter. She really helped me mature and evolve and be the woman that I am now, you know? And I give thanks for my journey because if I wouldn't have been through that journey, I wouldn't have the wisdom that I do have now. Because that's where real wisdom comes, you know, through experience. Yeah, through experience
Beautiful.
and yeah, I've had a lot of experience not only healing myself, but others. You know, my daughter's never been to counseling or therapy. Every time that I wanted to, and they would put her on a wait list, and she never got into it. Like, well, they never received her.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, I had to be my daughter's counselor and therapist and make
Mm-hmm.
sure that her mental health was on point and that she grew up healthy, you know, because yeah. There's no way I was going to like allow any medications or anything or her experience depression or wanting to die or something. Like, no, no, no. Like, no.
Right.
So healing myself was important. And I highly recommend anybody, you know, and it's not easy doing it by yourself. So support is very, very important. Very important.
Yeah.
So I feel beyond bliss that I found authentic, genuine friendship and kindness with you all, which we met at a retreat.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but I mean that's all about me and my awakening journey.
Beautiful, beautiful,
Yeah.
beyond beautiful. Honestly, I'm just in awe of you, and I know everybody else is too. So thank you for sharing all of that beauty, all of your beauty with us. Tell people if you have anything coming up where can they find you? You know, any are you doing sessions right now? And then we'll just wrap it up because it's already an hour. Oh my gosh, like,
Yeah, you're right. Time does fly by.
it does.
Well,
There's so much
at the
more.
moment,
Mhm.
I'm still taking the Isis Priestess course, so that's something about me. I'm not a perfectionist, but I really do like to, you know what I'm saying? I really want to expand my gifts. So I'm really devoted right now with the energy work, like daily. I really try to clear out my chakras and expand myself and my gifts. But yeah, I am certified Aura and Ra, basically Reiki and a hypnotherapist as well. So we work with entity removals, we work with negative aliens as well, um, and speak to them and, hold space for them and, the role that they're here to play in this experience, in this,
Mhm.
our human experience. So we do that. We create a safe container. So I really do practice my shieldings, every day too. That has really helped me a lot because I would get attacked psychically all the time, and it was draining. I would get false downloads that would come with like fear or anxiety afterwards, and I was just like, what's going on?
Yeah.
you know? So
Hmm.
yeah, like, yeah. Um, and I've been learning how to work with like my energetic, I don't know if I could call it weapon, but sometimes our higher selves do gifts us gifts basically, or they're activated. So
Hmm.
I've been learning how to work with my gifts and I don't know if how would you call it? Would you call it a weapon? A weapon, it sounds like
Tool.
violent.
Well, tool.
Yeah, a tool. Yeah. Yeah. So I've been devoted to work with that. Hopefully, starting in March, I will definitely have my website up and running. I love to create for fun. I love
It's
doing
a
arts and
beautiful artist.
crafts.
Yeah.
Yeah,
She's so
like
talented.
just jewelry, earrings, or
Painting.
paintings. Yeah, like
Beautiful.
these here.
Oh,
Um, yeah, this
follow
one
her.
right here. Oh man, that's the yoni verse basically. It's a lotus yoni, which
Hmm.
it has, the rainbows and expanding, and then it has the moons on top. But yeah, so I love to create. I definitely be creating for others. I'm here in service to others wholeheartedly, but I would love to give my best to others. I believe in quality, quality over quantity. So, I'm really getting devoted to that, my energy work, and I'll be here to assist others. I'm definitely planning on offering, sliding scale pay for some people who can't afford like the healing for raw services or hypnotherapy services, which they go really in depth. They don't only activate your DNA, but they activate a lot of things.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm going to also be sharing soon videos on how to integrate a lot of you know, integration and processing everything pretty much. It's really needed because there's not a lot of guidance. Like, yeah, there's, DNA activation and all of this, but sometimes you think you're going crazy. Like, what the heck is going on? Am I getting sick? Symptoms and stuff like that. So I feel like integration of energies is really important. So I think I
Hmm.
want to dive in deep into that because I've definitely experienced things like that. And many of us
Yes.
do.
Yeah, more sharing about what you're doing on a daily and how you work through balance and how I think that needs to be shared more from from all of us. So yeah, I think the energy is good for that. I think that'd be so beautiful. So everybody can follow you and then watch your journey unfold and when your website's all launched and yeah, beautiful.
Yeah, I'm excited.
Oh my gosh. Yenny, oh my God, I could talk to you for like 17 more hours.
Yeah, I know. Oh, I didn't get to read the things, the
It's
comments,
okay. I got screenshots
but
for you. It's okay.
oh, awesome. But thank you
Yes.
all for being here. I love you
Thank
all.
you. Oh my
We
gosh.
got
Yeah.
this, y'all.
Hmm. Yes. Yeah. So yeah, we got this. Any other like last words of love and encouragement and fire?
Yeah, it's not all love and light. Sometimes there's some energies resurface where you feel aggressive, as in like you want to say out loud, don't fuck with my energy. You have to
Hmm.
let it out. Like before, I was like, no, I have to be pure. I have to be, perfect or this and that because, that's what we see online, basically. Like everybody's just so peace and love, so balanced. But, sometimes that old version of ourselves, we need to experience it for like 5 minutes and play that song that we need to play to let it out because we
Mm.
can't hold it in, to let it out. And then, after we release it, come back to our center and start dancing and, raising your vibration again. For example, I was experiencing something like that 3 days ago. And, I haven't listened to this because, I grew up in Chicago. So I grew up with trap music, hip hop, and all these things.
Hmm.
So I had to play Princess Nokia. I'm not sure if you're familiar with her. Princess Nokia, she has a song called Brujas. And
Hmm.
it goes like, don't you fuck with my energy, don't you fuck with my energy. I was like, I need to sing this out loud, because it's a mantra, and I'm affirming it not for just anybody, like on an egotistical level. It was directed to like negative aliens and archons and whoever used as remote viewing, because I've experienced that where I had a so-called friend who was basically abusing her power in a way that I didn't even know until she, every time that she spoke, she slipped out and she would tell me things that she would see that I was doing. And I didn't know about this. So when I started shielding myself, I started affirming that to make sure that I do not consent to any looking glass technology or remote viewing, because people who have these abilities, they do that and they won't tell you. You know what I'm saying? And I just think that's like a whole violation right there. So I definitely
Hmm.
had to cut that friend off because, I send her love, light, energy all the time, but that just made me feel some type of way. That they infringe upon your boundaries like that. Yeah. And I know people that do this. So that's why it's very important to set up our boundaries and to shield, because it's not all love light when people, just because they have their third eye open or, all these psychic abilities, there's some people who can infringe upon you. And will do it, maybe not out of malevolence, but sometimes out of curiosity. And
Mm.
I still don't think that's okay.
Yeah.
So it's very important to practice shielding, creating your bubble, creating, to
Your boundaries.
your boundaries and setting your affirmations. And yeah, that is it. Definitely shield everybody, create your own form, activation. Like you have to, because it's real out here.
It
It's
is,
real.
but there's so much beauty and love there, and so, you know.
Yeah. Thank
Oh,
you all.
thank
I
you
love
so
you.
much. Oh, I love you so much, Yanni. Thank you so, so very much. Thank you so much. And thank you, everybody that tuned in, for all your beautiful comments. So much love in the comments. Oh my gosh, like so much. It's
I'm
gonna be like
excited.
you don't even know. So yes, yes. Oh my God, beautiful. I'm gonna
Yeah.
save this right
Hmm.
now. I'm gonna pop it
Yes,
over on
Christina.
YouTube. Yes,
No, I
Christina.
was reading her thing. Yeah, she's like, yes, people absolutely do remote viewing on us. I had a powerful healer do that to me. We have to say we don't
Oh
consent.
yeah.
Yep. Yeah. Yeah.
Yep.
No, it's true.
We don't
Like,
consent to any infringements at all whatsoever in any way, shape,
mm-mm.
or form. Period. Done. I'm
We
on
can
my
call,
organic
we'll call
timeline.
Kali up in here, Kali Mom, for protection. Transmute that energy real quick. I'm just
That's
kidding.
right. That's right. Okay. Oh my God.
All right.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. Till next time. Infinite love to you, Yenni. I love you so
Excited.
much.
Yes. Love you all too. Bye.
Bye.
Oh, Crystal, I tuned into your live. I loved it.
Good. Deanna, I know. You guys are going to
Yes.
get along very
The
much. Very
interview.
much. I know.
Take care. Bye. All
Okay,
right.
bye.